What is a fact that you think sounds completely false and that makes you angry that it's true? I was talking to my mum about bees one day and telling her where queen bees come from. Basically they start out as a normal bee larvae, but the worker bees feed it special royal jelly that makes it grow into a queen bee, and as the words came out of my mouth I realized how fake it sounded. My mum didn't believe me, and I had to Google it later to prove it to her. Until as early as the 1980s, newborns were not given pain medicine during surgery, only muscle relaxant, as it was falsely accepted they could not feel pain. Imagine going through the pain of a surgery, but unable to move due to a muscle relaxant. Pretty much anything to do with naked mole rats. They are neither related to moles nor rats, they can use their teeth like chopsticks, they have the social hierarchy of bees, and oh yeah, they are cold-blooded. From 1719 to 1721, prisoners in Paris were given their freedom if they agreed to marry a prostitute and moved to Louisiana. Explains a lot about Louisiana. The millionaire heir to the fortune of the American chemical company DuPont, Robert H. Richards, has avoided prison after raping his 3-year-old daughter because a judge considered he wouldn't fare well in prison. All crisps, chips for any Americans in the UK go out of date on a Saturday. It annoys me because a smug friend pointed it out and I have been unsuccessful in proving him wrong. I had to Google this and found this from Walker's. In the manufacturing sites we work on production weeks which start on a Sunday. All product produced in that week will have the same best before date. As the week ends on the Saturday, the best before date will always end on a Saturday. The fact you can sneeze and or cough so hard you can break a rib. Like how? Why? I dislocated my rib from coughing when I had the flu. Then it popped back in after a particularly powerful sneeze. Get your flu shot, kids. There are more privately owned tigers in Texas than there are wild tigers on the rest of the planet combined. The government pays Microsoft to keep Windows XP running, cause the government uses Windows XP a lot. I think that's mostly because a lot of systems are only ever down when they are broken, and to update the OS would require updating everything that runs on that OS, which most workers don't want to do. It's a problem for a lot of companies unless someone in charge tells everyone they are upgrading and forces them to. That the capybara is so useless that its main defense is to stand still and wait to be eaten. It's basically a vegetable made from meat. Yo, talking about capybaras. I thought they were great animals and were definitely my favorites at the local animal sanctuary. However, I helped out one day cleaning up all the animal shelters, etc., and they have one capybara who is completely separated from the rest. Thought it was weird, so I asked why he is all alone. Turns out they put him together with other animals and other capybara, and every morning there would be animals with several bites / several dead capybaras, etc., and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They placed a night camera and turns out the capybara that is now separated was the goddamn problem. He murdered them. Absolute psycho. That crocodiles can climb trees. Did not want to know this, thanks. But here's some more about them for you. They, or alligators. Honestly no idea which, can live for an indeterminate amount of time. Basically, they just keep growing and die because their body can't deal with it and fails, not due to age. If you mix water and sawdust and freeze it, the resulting ice melts extremely slowly, like weeks at room temperature slowly. Slightly nuttier, they wanted to build a giant aircraft carrier in WW2 out of this stuff and park it in the Atlantic. Would supposedly be very torpedo / weapon resistant, as they could just refreeze chunks that were blown out. Blind people don't see black. They just don't. They don't see. The only way to understand is to be blind, and that infuriates me. Yeah, this one bothers me too. I'd love to have someone who could see and then lost their sight completely, try to explain the difference between seeing black when you close your eyes and just literally not seeing. I can't even fathom it. Private prisons make money by meeting quotas to keep prisons full. They technically fail / are not successful if they cannot keep their cells full. They're actually among those lobbying to keep marijuana illegal. I wonder why. McDonald's is the largest toy distributor in the world. Lego is the world's largest producer of tires. That unlockable means both able to be unlocked and unable to be locked. My 11-year-old pointed this out, and I had nothing for her other than a blank stare, and then thinking, well, shit. Good job. The top 15 cargo ships in the world produce more sulfur and other greenhouse gases than all the world's cars put together. There's a huge patch of garbage 3 times the size of France floating around the Pacific Ocean. Yep, and according to a 2015 study in the journal Science, the top 6 countries responsible for dumping ocean garbage are China, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka and Thailand. Chemically, rhinoceros horn is identical to human fingernails. So biting your nails gives you as much health benefit as powdered rhinoceros horn would. Even if these facts were presented to the people that partake in this, they would continue to do it, which is why I think severe punishments should be induced to those that do it, not just the poachers. The entire world population could fit in Texas if people lived as densely as Manhattan, 1,000 square feet per person. Edit. It's frustrating that so many problems of global resource disparity could probably be solved by bringing people closer together. Same idea for supporting people in countries with challenging living circumstances. Whether environment, poverty, violence, or other. I mean, Texas is hot, but it's not that bad. What I'm most surprised at is that Manhattan is 1,000 square feet per person. That's square feet of ground, so if you took away all the multi-story buildings, everyone would still have that much personal space. I gotta say, Manhattan feels crowded but hardly unbearable, especially outside of Midtown. Can you imagine being able to roam a world free of human development because we confined it to Texas? Amazing. Dolphins are evil. They reproduce mostly by rape. Males will gang rape female dolphins and animals of other species including humans. They will drown baby dolphins, so the mother is ready to mate again sooner. They will bite the heads off of fish and masturbate into the dead bodies. They do save people in rare cases, but based on how they treat other species they are more likely to rape you as you drown. We have these amazing medicines called vaccines to help prevent deadly and debilitating illnesses, but a not insignificant number of people decide they'd rather throw hands with deadly microbes and force their kids to gamble with death. There are more slaves in the world right now than there were at the peak of the Atlantic slave trade. The terms hardwood and softwood have nothing to do with the actual hardness of the wood, but what kind of seeds the tree produces. Pandas are usually born as twins, but the mother nearly always abandons one, so zoos have to switch out the panda babies to trick the mother into caring for both. Not actually making me angry about it, but it makes me feel weird cheetahs can't roar, they can only meow like normal house cats. That the phrase "I never said she stole my money" can have 7 different meanings depending on which word you stress. The fact that in an electric circuit, even though the electric current is electrons moving from negative pole to positive pole, the definition of a current flow is that it moves from positive to negative. And similar misses in definitions in physics/science that was just decided to stay because changing definitions would be confusing at first. English bulldogs can't give birth naturally. Humanity has ruined them, and it's time to let them die. They can't mate naturally either. The males are literally physically incapable of mounting the females, so they either have to be helped to do so, or the females are artificially inseminated. The puppies are always delivered via cesarean section, since their skulls would not fit through the birth canal. They will then live their entire lives with compromised breathing. But you know, they are so cute. With their little squished in faces, and their adorable snorting. I mean, a fact that sounds false, but actually makes me happy, is that honey is one of the only foods in the world that never goes bad, might get dirty, or hardened but never expires. Also, honey has around 3 different super efficient ways of killing bacteria, which means that honey is freaking awesome. Most people don't know how to water. For example, I bet that if you're watering your tree you aren't doing anything besides watering your neighbor's tree, and vice versa for your neighbor. It is recommended you water 3 times the canopy width, as in a full-on sprinkler for wide canopy trees like apple trees, away from your tree, as the roots close to the tree exchange nutrients with fungi in the soil. You can actually change the root system underneath and bring the water-seeking roots closer to the tree by cutting back the canopy, as 3 times the canopy length is the golden rule of thumb.